Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I'm going to be revisiting my 2021 favorites video and we're going to see if the products still hold that title. This is one of the videos I look forward to filming every year. So before we get into it, I'd love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started. I had quite a few favorites last year, so let's start off with primers and things that go underneath of makeup. First being the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Putty Primer. Now, I think this one might have lost its favorite title for me. I feel like I just don't use it anymore. I haven't touched it in a very long time, so this is the one I'm going to be going in with. But the other primers I included in this video were the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer, which is one I still have on rotation. It's fantastic. It does so much under makeup. It mattifies your skin, it hydrates your skin, it blurs your pores, and it's silicone free, and it also makes your makeup stay on all day. And I also had two glow boosters. So I had the Auric Glow Lust, which I would still say is a complete favorite. I adore this stuff and I still have it on rotation quite a bit. And the other one is the iconic London. And I think this booster got booted away by the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I think I just prefer this one a little bit more. I like its consistency. It's a bit thicker than this one is. And I find that the pearlescence in here is a bit more intense. And I just love how it has a wand. So I reach for the e.l.f. one more than the iconic London one these days. So those are the primers. 2 out of the 4 are still huge favorites of mine, but I wanted to revisit the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Putty Primer. And I feel like this one fell off for me because I didn't have too much acne problems this year, and it I think kind of just gotten forgotten in my collection. That can happen. I try a lot of products, but I'm excited to use it today. I remember it feels really nice and hydrating, but it doesn't make your makeup look greasy or anything. The texture is really beautiful. Yeah, it just feels really nice and silky and hydrating, but it does definitely slightly diffuse your skin. And I did find that it made a difference on my skin when I was using it quite a bit. I mean, like, look at this thing. It definitely was a favorite. But yeah, it kind of fell off for me. So now let's move on to my foundations. And I had 4. The first one being the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. Now, I've put this on the back burner for a very long time. This is the one I think I'm going to be going in with today. It's the one I haven't reached for in the longest. I think it's because I had such an obsession with this product for so long. I had to forcibly put it away from myself so I could give other things a chance. And then I ended up falling in love with a lot of foundations over this year. So I'm excited to see how it lives up to, say, like the Dior Forever Skin Glow or the Armani Luminous Silk. I have a lot of new favorite foundations, so we'll see about that. But in my 2021 favorites, I also had the Fenty Beauty Eaze Drops, which is still such a favorite of mine. I used it so much during the summer. I know this one still holds the favorite title. Same with the MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body. I think this is just a great product to go back to whenever you're not sure what's going to work. I feel like this product always works, and it's fun that it can look like a tinted moisturizer or an actual foundation depending on how you apply it. It's just a fun, handy product, and I think I'll always have it in my collection. So this one still is a favorite as well. And the last foundation I had in here, this is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. Now, this one is beautiful. The only thing that went wrong with this one is that it was always too dark of a color, so I ended up just overlooking it in my collection all the time. So I actually don't know. I always forget to grab the lighter shade so I can mix it in with this one. Anyways, long story short, I don't know if this is a favorite of mine anymore, but I remember it looking stunning. So let's go in with the LYS Triple Fix Foundation. I'm going to be using the shade MN1. I believe that one will match me right now. I wish I didn't shake this up prior to filming this. It was more than halfway done, and I don't finish my foundations that often. I don't finish them that often because I try so many. I wish I finished more for sure. I can't tell you the last time I used this, which probably is going to be a shame because it already is looking really pretty. And I'm applying that with the Rose Ink No. 3 brush. Now moving on to concealers, I have two here. So the first one is the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix, and this was such a favorite of mine during 2021. I remember that. I did a lot more no makeup looks, I feel like, and this was the perfect product for that. I feel like it's kind of gotten neglected by me in the last couple of months, and when I do my no makeup looks, I have been reaching for like my Nars Soft Matte Concealer or my Clé de Peau Concealer, just because they blur out everything. This one does brighten your under eyes and slightly corrects them, but it still leaves the darkness behind, which with my no makeup looks this year, I kind of wanted a more corrected base that didn't look very corrected, if you know what I mean. So I might try to use both of the concealers today, because the other one I had is the Lancome All Over Concealer, and this is still for sure a favorite of mine. I still use this on a weekly basis. It's been probably my most favorite concealer I've ever used, constantly on rotation. This concealer is probably my most reliable one I have. So I'm going to go in with the Bright Fix first, and I have a couple colors, so I might use one that's a more color correcting color. I would use the shade Butter as my concealer, but today I'm feeling the shade Melon, which is a pinkier based color, because these are meant to be eye brighteners and color correctors as well. So I'm just taking a little itty bitty amount of that. Oh wow, that is really nice. You can tell it's been a few months since I've reached for these, but that melon color is gorgeous. I wouldn't say favorites anymore, just very, very, very high liked by me. And then for the Lancome concealer, I'm using the shade 250 Warm Bisque, just in the same spots. And this is a lovely concealer because it's so thin, but it's so high coverage, and the texture is just amazing. The finish is very matte. This is another great option for spot correcting because it has that gorgeous matte finish and that very thin consistency. Hopefully I'll be able to show you on this one, but it might be a little bit dry to correct. With how matte its finish is, it's kind of surprising that it doesn't like dry down like a liquid lipstick under your eyes, but you get a lot of working time and blending time, so you don't have to panic blend at all. Oh yeah, I did a pretty good job on that one. Nice. Now moving on to setting powders. I had 3 included in this video. The first one was the Kosas Cloud Set, which for sure is still a favorite of mine. This one's quite unique, I find, as well, because it's so ultra blurring, but it does have a sheen to it. You can see it especially if you place this into direct sunlight. You can see a little bit of a pearlescence. So it's kind of cool to see how blurring this is, but also illuminating. I've made quite the dent in this one here. My favorite shade to go in with is Feathery. This one might be the winner for today. Another powder I had included was the Annabelle Perfect Matte Powder. Now this one was recently replaced actually, and I just talked about this in my drugstore products that feel high-end video, and it was replaced by the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Clarifying Finishing Powder. I find that this one is even more blurring and diffusing, and this one could have a little bit of a dusty cast sometimes if you apply too much, whereas this one you can apply as much as you want and it doesn't look that way. I just have been preferring this formula over this one now, and I believe this one is easier accessible to more people, whereas this one was tricky because I think it's a Canadian brand only, and you can get it like on Amazon or something if you were living in the States. But yeah, I really, really enjoy this one here. And the last powder I had included was the LYS Triple Fix, which is actually the powder that I've been using the most recently. I actually prefer this one over the Charlotte Tilbury powder. I find it to just be a lot thinner, the way it sits on your skin. I have a big decision here because I do really, really love these two. I'm gonna do a little combo. I'm going to revisit this under my eyes, and I'm going to use this all over my face. First with the Annabelle Perfect Matte. This is still a beautiful powder and I'm still going to have it in my collection, but it's been replaced. I'm just gonna put this to the side because I don't wanna set my face just yet because I have a lot of cream products I'm going to be talking about in a moment here. That wraps up powders. I'm going to go straight into highlighters next. I also had 2 in this section. So the first one was the Melt Cosmetics Sexfoil. Still probably my #1 favorite liquid highlighter. That didn't sound very confident. I would say so. And I also had the MAC Hush Cream Color Base. I dream of this daily. Here they are swatched on my hand. So this is the MAC Cream Color Base and this is the Melt Sexfoil. And I'm going to use MAC today. kind of switched up my application just with my bronzer and highlighter. Usually I'll go in with bronzer first, then highlight. I switched them because I like over blending my highlighter and it kind of shining through my bronzer. I think it makes it look a lot more seamless and everything kind of melts into one another a lot better. Damn, that is so pretty. Yeah, these two are still big winners in my eyes. Speaking of bronzers, I have five. Yes, I have 5. First one being the LYS No Limits Matte Bronzer. I kind of forgot about this one, to be honest. It's been months since I've reached for this, so I'm not sure how that looks on my skin anymore. I can't believe this next one is a 2021 favorite. I could have sworn it was a 2022, but this is the Glowish by Huda Beauty bronzer. Love this one. Probably top 5 bronzers of all time for me. It just always looks good. I love its subtle sheen. It's just so sheer, but impactful at the same time. I would say that this is a powder version of the Makeup by Mario enhancer that I love so much. It's that good. There's the LYS bronzer right there. It's a nice color, but I haven't used it in I don't know how long, like months and months and months. And then I also had this duo from Patrick Ta. It's the Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I use the shade She Sculpted. This one, I would say it's a high like for me. I wouldn't consider it a favorite anymore. I look upon it every day. Like I see it in my collection, but I always end up reaching for something else. Not always, but like I often reach for something else after seeing this one. The color is really gorgeous. It was such a huge favorite during 2021. I love how it's a cream and a powder in one as well. I think I was exploring other things. It sounds like I'm talking about an ex here. Yeah, but I believe this is another one that's demoted, but not by much. Still very highly liked by me. And it's not going anywhere. You don't have to be worried about getting decluttered. Next, I have blush and bronzers that are in the same formula, so I'm going to talk about them in the same breath. So those are the e.l.f. Putty Bronzers and Putty Blushes. They're the exact same formula, just different colors, obviously. I wouldn't consider them favorites anymore, but I really like them nonetheless. They have a really gorgeous sheerer effect. They remind me quite a bit of the Fenty Beauty bronzers, the ones in the compact, but they also set down to a powder. So they have something a little unique that stands out amongst the rest of the things in my collection. I use the shade Tan Lines and Feeling Shady. Feeling Shady is the perfect contour color, and this right here is Tan Lines. Still gorgeous products. I find that I don't reach for them as often anymore just because sometimes they can look a little patchy, I'm not gonna lie, especially if I'm in a rush or something and I don't have all day to sit there and like blend out my bronzer perfectly. They can look a little iffy. So I think that happened to me one day and I kind of looked past them for quite a while. Yeah, and same goes with the blushes. I'd say I reach for the bronzer and contours more so than the blushes. The blushes kind of get forgotten. I have the shades Turks and Caicos and Tahiti. This one here is Tahiti. You can see like I was kind of rushing my blend there and they kind of just gather together. I like them, but no longer my faves. Next up are the Cosmetics So Soft Sticks. So the contour and bronzer and the blush versions. So these are all of the shades I still own. I still regularly use these. They're still in the rotation, but I don't know if I'd qualify them as like a top favorite anymore, but they're still a favorite amongst my collection. They still get me excited quite often and they've been out for quite a while now. So this is the shade Terra, which is the perfect contour color. This is Summer. Then we have Pearl Tea, which I believe is my most used one out of them all. It's such a perfect blush to turn to when you don't know what you're doing with your eyes or your lips. Then we have Bitten, Venetian Rose. I feel like I'm saying bitten weird. Anyways. Then we have Lychee or Lychee, depending on what pronunciation you use in your area, and Baby. Now, what do I want to do for my cheeks? I think I'm going to do this as my contour, and then I'm going to use the LYS bronzer because I haven't used this in so long. Sorry, I changed my battery because it was dying and I put you guys on a weird angle. Yeah, I'm gonna do that little combo. So I'm just gonna take the contour. Oh, I forgot how pigmented this one is. I'm used to the amber. Oh my goodness. I think I did a number on myself there. Okay, just blend it into my hair. Yeah, this formula is heavily pigmented, which is kind of a different thing for Cosmetics because they have a very like soft aesthetic. If you know that going into these, you just need the tiniest amount. I remember now I usually dot this one. I've been using other bronzer sticks that I have to use a little bit more of. Oopsies, but that's okay. it'll all turn out. And they're wonderful because they kind of set down to this powdery state and you can feel it on your brush. Like right now it feels like I'm blending out a powder. Help me. It's very interesting. Now I'm going to switch my brush to my Moda blending fan, and I'm using this bronzer from LYS in the shade Motivate. Oh yeah, I can see why I don't reach for this as much anymore. I feel like I found some tones that are a bit more neutral in color. I feel like this one can look a little bit orangey. It has an orange tinge to it, doesn't it? But the formula is quite wonderful. It feels really similar to their setting powder, which is so easily diffused. Although it's really making me look like actually naturally tanned. I think I spoke too soon. That looks like an actual tan. Hold on a second. What have I been missing out on? Like, right? I look like I just stepped off the beaches of Hawaii, right? Or am I just delusional right now? No, I'm not. That's pretty. What have I done to myself? I'm sad now. Okay, yeah, that's pretty gorgeous. Now let's move on to the biggest section in this video, which is evidently blushes. So we already talked about the Cosmetics So Soft ones and the e.l.f. Putty blushes. Now let's talk about Rose Inc for a second. This is still my favorite cream blush. I just adore it too much. I feel like I fall in love with them all over again every time I use them, and they come out with new shades all the time, which just makes my little heart so happy. But my favorite shades are still Foxglove, Heliotrope, and I think Azalea now. But all of them are fantastic, so whatever color you're drawn to, you're going to love, especially if you're really into cream blushes. I don't feel like I need to talk about these long. Next here I have the Nars Air Matte blushes, and I wouldn't consider these favorites anymore. These have just kind of sat in my collection for a while. It's funny, I often like grab them first, but I always end up putting them back and grabbing something else. I just am not in love with them anymore for some reason. I feel like they've done a similar thing like the e.l.f. bronzer did to me once, where it has that kind of powdery matte finish, and if you blend it a little bit too fast, it can kind of gather and look patchy. So I think these have done that to me a few times too much, so not my favorites anymore, that's for sure. And then I mentioned the Rare Beauty melting blushes. I really like these still, but I think I prefer the Rare Beauty liquid blushes more than these, just because of their versatility. I find that these can be a little bit sheer for my liking, but not even that. I just prefer the liquid versions and the liquid colors as well. They keep coming out with new colors, whereas these ones are still all of the ones they initially launched with, and I find that they can lean quite warm. I still have 3. They have a really fun formula. I still would recommend them. They do set down to a powdery finish as well, but they don't do what the Nars or the e.l.f. ones do. They are really interesting because see, look, this is what it looks like when it's untouched, but then once you start swatching it, you can see it actually starting to melt, and you can feel it warming up to your fingertip, and it feels so silky and liquidy. But then once it touches your skin, you can feel it becoming a powder again. They're really cool. So that's Nearly Apricot, Nearly Rose, and the last one here, which is my favorite out of the 3 I own, is Nearly Neutral. Nearly Neutral right there, which is a stunning color. I feel like that actually looks really good with my top and my hair. I like the liquid ones more, but the packaging on these are so freaking cute. They always just look so edible. I want to put it in my mouth for some reason. And then I also had included this discontinued blush palette from Patrick Ta. He sells individuals of each duo here now, which is awesome. And he recently launched a new one with a highlighting color. I might pick it up, we'll see. This is such a fun one. The shade She's Baked, which is this one over here, is the one that's most used by me, but these ones are so fun and bright. Like this shade right here is actually neon, so you only need the tiniest amount of this and it's going to be insanely vibrant on your cheeks. I'll give them all a swatch while I'm at it here. This is such a fun, cool pink too, the one on the far left. There's something different about it. It's just so vibrant. And then of course, She's Baked. I swatched this in such a weird area, but I need the space. There, there's the palette. It's stunning. I was going to go with Nearly Neutral from Rare Beauty, but my heart really wants this shade. The heart wants what it wants. So I'm gonna go in with the duo in She's Vibrant. I'm gonna start off with the cream, and I'm just gonna tap the excess off on the palm of my hand, which thank goodness, because that would have been my cheek. It was just calling, and I wanted to see what it looked like with my red hair. Because I've been doing a lot of monochromatic looks, so I wanted to shy away from Nearly Neutral. Damn, so pigmented. Nice. I thought that that would clash with the red hair, but I honestly really like it. I think the bronzer and contour really helped to balance it out. I'm happy I went with that color. I just picked up my Kosas Cloud Set again in the shade Feathery, and I'm now going to set my skin. Did you see that forehead transformation? Oh, so gorgeous. But you can still see it has a healthy sheen to it. That's that pearl work and it's magic. You can see because I over applied that blush a little bit, just adding a little bit of this on top kind of takes it down the perfect amount. Now I have one setting spray, which is the Milk Hydro Grip. Now this is a new bottle because I recently finished my first bottle, which says a lot because I'm not a setting spray person, but I adore this one. It's really, really effective. So I'm gonna do that before I get to my eyes and such. Oh, that feels so nice. And while I let this set, I'm going to do my brows and prime my eyes, so please enjoy the brow intermission. So now let's move on to the eye section of today's video, and it's not that big. The bulk of today's video was definitely in the base products. So starting off with eyeshadow palettes, I only have 3 here. I think we were really sick of eyeshadow palettes in 2021 because the span of like 2016 to 2020 was eyeshadow palette galore. That was all that was launching. It felt that way anyways, but we were so tired. We saw every color scheme imaginable. We were tired of the pop of blue and every palette that would prank us into buying it. Anyways, yeah, I only have 3 here. So the first one was the Melt Mini Neutral Stack. I'm sad that this isn't a permanent product of theirs. I still reach for it often because it's perfect neutrals. It's in this little cute little paper palette, so it's like environmentally friendly. It's so easy to throw in a makeup bag and it will suit any lip color or blush color or whatever. It just makes makeup really easy, and most of the shades in here I've hit pan, especially on this color right here. It was my favorite out of them all. It's just that perfect contour color. So that one hurts a little bit, but I would still say that this is a very special product in my collection and I love it dearly. Next up, I have the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette. I would still consider this one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. I feel like it's newer to me in the sense that I just fall in love with it every time I look at it. And I love its versatility because it has like the fun creams in here. I just adore it. And the shimmers in here are really fun because they're toppers. So it just looks like glossy toppers. It's fun to just experiment with it. These are like my colors. I feel like this is me in a palette, you know? And the last eyeshadow palette was the Pat McGrath Utopian Dreams, which I still dream of this palette. I dream of her gorgeousness. I recently did a really fun look on my YouTube channel using this. Yeah, it was my Instagram chooses my makeup video. I still adore that one. So I'm gonna do a little combo here. I think I'm going to mix some of these palettes together. I'm not feeling that creative with a look, but I remembered I had this fun look saved in my TikTok. It's by the creator Greta Miki. It's this really fun neutral eye with a pink liner. And I'm going to talk about my liners quickly before we get into the look. But for eyeliners, my 2 favorites were the Makeup by Mario. I think I actually replaced these with the Melt Cosmetics waterline pencils. I find them to be a lot more glidey and creamier, and they just perform a bit better, whereas these ones have kind of dried up just because they're older in my collection as well, so they are a bit more tuggy, but I still use them time to time. Like the shade Soft Brown is still quite unique to my collection here. It's just a gorgeous brown color. And the other liners I had included are the Tattoo Studio liners from Maybelline. Still my top recommended eyeliners. From beginners to experts, these are fantastic liners. You can do it all with them. Waterline, you can smudge them out, use them as eyeshadows, create really sharp liners with them. Do it all. You can do it all with them. They're ultra creamy and you have so much blending time. Oh, I just kind of did a little mixture. That's kind of fun. But yeah, you can see they're very blendable. And the last eyeshadow slash eyeliners that were in this section are the Nécessaire Color Fixes. These are so fun. These are always going to be favorites of mine just because they're so versatile and fun to work with. You mix up your own colors. She has pretty much every color under the sun. You know, creativity to the max with these. So I'm going to try to incorporate a lot of things for this eye look. So let's get started. To start, I'm going to use this shade in my crease, and this is the only color I'm going to be using from the mini stack. I'm going to throw that in my crease and I'm really going to blow it out. Hers is brought out pretty far, so I'm going to do the same. Just really making sure it's a soft blend. Just to incorporate this palette, I'm going to take the lighter of the creams from the Patrick Ta palette. And I'm kind of deepening up this section and I'm bringing it down on my lower V here, just in the outer V here, like so. Which is so pretty on its own, just like this, just softly blended. Then I'm going to take a combination of some of the Nécessaire neons. I want to get that kind of fuchsia-y pink she's got going on here. Like, it's so pretty. See what I mean? Like, I want that. So I'm going to mix the shades Lollipop with a little bit of rainbow and maybe a touch of bubblegum to lighten it up a little bit. Let's see how that goes. Let's see. Looks pretty spot on so far. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. That's what I was wanting. This is what we're left with. Oh no, oh no. Okay, it's okay. Now I'm going to take some of this shade again, and I'm just gonna put that on my lower lashes here. And it looks like she adds a darker color as well. I'm not gonna do everything she did on the lower lash line. She also ended up putting that pink liner in her lower waterline. I'm not gonna put the Nécessaire in there. I don't know if that would go very well. But it does look like she added a bit more of a dark brown right here. So I'm taking the one that's in the McGrath palette. I'm just gonna go right there. Get more of a shadow. And then she takes a fun shimmer shade. I'm going to take the really fun one from the Utopian Dream palette. And I am going to dampen my brush with setting spray just so we get more of a detailed application. Don't want this to go everywhere. I like to spritz my brush before and a little bit after as well. I'm gonna take that and put it right in the center like she did. Okay, that's really fun. I feel like this is a very Barbie look. That's so cute. Love that. All those eye products are still very used by me in a nice way. That sounded kind of sussy, but yeah. Oh, I love that. You know what? I want to go a little extra with that shade right in the inner corner here. And overlap and I want to overlap this little detail here. Oh, I like this eye look very, very much. And I had two mascaras. The first one was the Rare Beauty mascara. So fantastic. This is my second tube of it. And the other one is the Essence Lash Princess, which I cannot believe this is that old. So this is like over a year old. It's time for me to get rid of this. I shouldn't put that around my eyes. So I'm gonna go with the Rare Beauty one because this is a newer tube. But the Lash Princess is just a cult classic, you know. I love the brush because it comes to that very tapered point, so it's so easy to get into all those lashes, and it's such a nice formula. It really volumizes your lashes and truly gives like a false lash effect with your natural lashes. It's fantastic, and it's also very long wearing. Oh my gosh, I have so much pink in my lashes right now. It just looks like I have pink lashes. It's awesome. Looks like I added pink mascara. Just giving them a quick curl with my Shoot Omera lash curler. And this mascara from Rare Beauty is awesome as well. It gives you a lot of volume very quickly. Oh, I don't know how this is gonna look with all that pink underneath. It's kind of giving a weird effect. Oh, I love these eyes. How fun is this look? I'm so happy I remembered this. Shout out to Greta. Yeah, the pink on my lashes definitely impacted the application of the mascara, but still, I am in love with this eye look. Like, how fun is this for real? So now we're going to move on to the last leg of this video, which is lip products. So starting off with lip liners, these define 2021 for me. These are the Melt Cosmetics Perfectionist Ultra Precision Lip Pencils. These are what I use 90% of the time. My favorite shades were Bear and Cashmere and Cinnamon, but they also have some other fun shades as well. Yeah, I feel like these kind of have got put on the back burner for a moment here because I am in a huge phase with the Makeup Forever lip pencils and the Huda Beauty pencils, which ironically are the two other formulas mentioned in this video. I kind of stopped using the Lip Contour 2.0s from Huda for a while there, but then they sent over the shade Pinky Brown and that changed everything. This is probably my #1 reached for pencil at the moment. And my other ones are the Makeup Forever pencils. I recently got a few new shades, but the one I initially fell in love with was Anywhere Caffeine. And someone mentioned, because I use this one so much, someone commented on my Instagram that this should be renamed to Nowhere Caffeine because it's really hard to get a hold of these days. And I understand. It's such a loved color. It's the perfect kind of yellowy brown lip liner, and it just suits almost all lip colors. Yeah, if you can find it, get it, because it's amazing. And this formula is really awesome too. It's kind of like a lip powder feel and they stay a really long time. But yeah, I grabbed a few new colors and they've since become, but yeah, I expanded my collection in these lip pencils and I now have Up and Down Tan and Wherever Walnut and Full Scale Rust. Those ones are beautiful. But before I pick a lip pencil, let's do a tour of all the lipsticks I had in this video. So first up were the Wet n Wild Cloud Pout Marshmallow Lip Mousses. I recently had to get rid of a ton of them because they've gone off. This is the only shade I have left, which is Candy Wasted, which is sad because these were some of my favorites. At the end of summer, ooh, this one is kind of weird too now. It's all crunchy. It's crunchy. It's crunchy. Ew. But yeah, I love these at the end of summer and into fall. I also had two variation of the MAC Powder Kiss lip colors. I had the bullet lipsticks as well as the liquid lip colors, still highly used by me. If you want to see these more in depth and in action, check out my best fall lipsticks video of 2022. I swatch my favorites of the season right now and I go into depth about the formula and such, but yeah, still love these, especially the shade Stay. The girls are fighting, especially the shade Stay Curious. I also have the Glossier Ultra Lips, which I might go in with today because I haven't used this in a moment and I think this would look really good with the eyes. Potentially not, actually, that might be a little bit too corally. But I might tie on the blush. These are stunning, stunning, high shine tinted lip balms. My most used shade is Villa, which is right here. And this is the shade Portrait. Like, look at that shine. And then the last lip products are the Soft Matte Tinted Lip Balms from Nars. I still adore these with my whole entire being. I just kind of put them to the side again because I needed to let other things shine for a bit, but the shades Intimate and Brief Encounter are still frequently used by me. They know the inside of my purse very well. This is Intimate and Brief Encounter. Gorgeous. Such perfect fall shades. So yeah, I would say all of the lip products are still huge favorites of mine, excluding the Wet n Wild Cloud Pouts because they did go off quite quickly. I'm curious to see what Portrait looks like. Let's give it a shot. I don't know if it's gonna be the one. Maybe. I have another idea in mind. I've been filming for a very long time. So they're like, where's my mom? I'm going to line my lips with Melt Cosmetics Bare. I feel like it's been a while since I've said that. That ties in the bronzer. And then I wanted to use a little bit of Teddy 2.0, but just wait. I know this is boring right now. And then I wanted to incorporate this Powder Kiss in the shade Fall in Love in the center. Because she ended up going with a super nudie lip, but I wanted to do a little bit of something different. I think that's cute. I like that a lot. And then what if, okay, I'm trying to just use everything. I'm gonna add a little bit of Portrait for some shine and to bring back that coral, tie in the cheeks a little bit. Perfect. 17 lip products later. Okay, this turned out super fun. I'm in love with this look, you guys. I forgot to try to fix this. I can't even really see it. It's just gonna be a part of my eye look now, but just look at this one. Cute. I just let my bangs down, you guys, and here is the finished final look. I think this was so fun to create and revisit, and I think it says a lot that I have all of the products that were in my 2021 favorites still. I would say that most of them are still considered favorites. There's only a few that were demoted to liked status and only a few that were replaced, but I think my 2021 favorites were spot on. I still look at most of these products with admiration, and most of them still give me those excited feelings. And I'm so happy I did this because I feel reconnected with a long lost lover of mine, the LYS Triple Fix. I think my skin looks fantastic. Everything does. My makeup is so nice today. I'm loving this look, but I've been filming for literal hours. I need to go shut up. So that's going to be it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give this video a like. I'll make sure to link all of the products I mentioned in today's video in the description down below, so feel free to check that out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.